Heffel is extremely proud to launch the new etching by David Blackwood, Search Party Lost. This work has had an inspirational journey. Blackwood began working on it in 1970, and it was misplaced for more than 50 years before it was just recently completed. We discussed the topic of inspiration with the artist, both the inspiration for this work and also the inspiration he found in the Newfoundland of his childhood, which led him to become one of Canada's most important artists.
A visit to the Louvre. The lineup was a mile long. I went straight to the raft of the Medusa church. Was the inspiration for this image.
Was there anything in the Newfoundland of your childhood that inclined you to a relationship with storytelling? To have the type of imagination that would conjure images from storytelling, and images that are palpable enough that you would then be able to express them, not just experience them for yourself, but be able to put them in a form.
All sorts of things come to mind. Sandy. Uncle Sandy Best was cook on the Glencoe. Always went to a little bookstore, sold comics, and he would always bring home at least a dozen comics. There was Superman, Batman, and then there was such a thing as a classic. The classics was a series of comic books. Tale of Two Cities.
In comic book form?
Yeah, Shakespeare stuff. And you know, these were wonderful images, beautifully drawn, and in color. And boy, thinking back, that was an influence.
Visual storytelling is very interesting, but maximizing the impact of one image in one frame to tell as much story as possible is very interesting. What is chosen to be emphasized and what is chosen to be omitted. How the scene is set if you're visually storytelling.
I keep getting bits and pieces from my uncle. My grandmother lived with him for a number of years, and she had a big box, the trunk. They felt referred to as the box, so you keep all your wedding dress from 90 years ago. And photographs. He didn't want to get it out of here. He gave the box and the contents to my brother. He rummaged through and found nothing there of any interest. And my God, it was chock-a-block full of things, including a letter to do with seeming having to do with my grandfather. Amazing.
That box has, it's just a box of stuff to someone else, but to you it's, there's an endless depth and importance to it. It's full of stories. But it's how somebody who has the inclination to storytelling has a way of seeing, has a way of being and relating to things.
We had the poem, an anthology of English verse, all British, published British, you know. And no visual, just the written word that I could imagine. Same is true for the Shakespearean play. Just the text. So I made my own illustrations in the book. The scene at the AGO, the book I had for the class, it's all illustrated, you know, the different castles and the different characters and so on.
There's a film from the 70s, Larry Jordan. He took Doré's engravings of Round of the Ancient Mariner, filmed them in these kind of visual tours, but set it to a recitation by Orson Welles. It's very dramatic, and it heightens the strangeness of the poem. It's a very strange poem, the experiences of those sailors.
Full of mystery and,
Yeah,
you know, really fabulous stuff.
like moving through realms of that couldn't possibly exist in a physical world, but express something necessary, but still mysterious. And that too is, I think, a really important part of storytelling. An air of mystery that still exists within the work. I think there's a quality of mystery in your work that I think then allows the imagination to stitch together their own experience of it.
Every evening after dinner, there would be people who dropped by. And a very good friend of mine, living next door, was an elderly gentleman who came there every night, lit up his pipe and started in. So Mr. Muller was not only a skipper, he started out as a young man, as an ordinary sealer. But with the accumulation of all of that great experience, he would become a master watch. A man aboard the ship who was in charge of 30 men, or more, or less, when they went over the sun to go out to disappear in the Arctic ice floe in search of seals, they would basically stay together. And this one man was in charge, and he was the man kind of compass.
The skill, the knowledge, the experience, and the authority that would come from that, I'd imagine that would be characteristics that would make him a pretty good storyteller.
Oh, tremendous.
I bet he would hold a room in thrall. A story well told can be understood by anyone. You know, Shakespeare is told all over the world. Stories are universal, but they're also not. There's certain stories in certain places that can only be from there. Certain people have certain experiences that are their own. Those stories have to be told that way to explain the tradition of Buena Vista Bay and Wesleyville is not to explain the tradition of even another part of Newfoundland. So there's this overlap of stories both being universal and very specific. And the telling of those stories is necessary for a fuller understanding of what it is to live.
There's some fantastic stories, really quite amazing.
Search Party Lost is now available at Heffel galleries across Canada, along with a wide selection of other works by David Blackwood. For more information, visit heffel.com.